Welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Happy Labor Day to you. Today is Labor Day, Monday, September 2nd, 2024. And we told you we was going to go up. So now it seems like, we got to start from the bottom again, because we were, moving in a fast rate on the other side. But now, they forced us to step our game up and to actually stream. Okay, I was doing, videos on my phones, on my devices, but somehow, some way, they figured out to step in. So entertainment, sports, politics, and money, you are tuned into A Better Black America TV. I have the BL Glover Show, is which I'm going to basically do the format. It's going to be a weekly show, but I'm going to do the format today. If you've been following, if you have subscribed, hit that share, hit that like, hit that subscription, because it's going to help the channel. And if you've been tuning in to A Better Black America Talk radio show, where we basically talk about the revolution not being televised, but on this Labor Day weekend, happy football season to you. It just kicks off the football season, but we're going to start some entertainment news now. Entertainment, sports, politics, and money are pretty much lined up or on the same sheet of music. Entertainment, sports, politics, and money. Somehow it's all connected. There are segues to connect, entertainment to sports, sports to the politics, and politics to the money. So we're just going to have an interesting conversation today, because God's people shall not perish due to lack of knowledge. And we're going to have this conversation. So in entertainment news, there are not one megastar. And I'm going to say this again. There are celebrities and Hollywood actors who are being paid to support the campaign. Oprah Winfrey, went to the DNC. She basically went out and, reprimanded Republicans and Democrats and said that she was an independent, but she said, let's vote for Kamala. And then all of a sudden she has a show that's going to be on ABC September 15th, Conversations with Oprah. So we know how that goes. We know how that pans out, but we got to really have this conversation. So there's been no megastars and no celebrities to actually jump in the game when it comes to supporting either side. Now, I basically wanted to just find out if there were some major endorsements that they can actually have. And Snoop Dogg, if she was to get Snoop Dogg to basically endorse her campaign, because I know without a shadow of a doubt, Snoop is not going to endorse Trump by no stretch of the imagination. And if he were to support a political party, it would be Democratic. But Snoop Dogg, as I have on the page right now, he has 89 million subscribers on just IG alone. So Snoop knows without a shadow of a doubt that that's going to actually hurt his brand if he were to support a presidential candidate. And knowing that Snoop is, Long Beach, I think he's from Insane. I'm not sure. But Snoop, I coached in the football league. I got friends and family members that's close associates to Snoop. But Snoop Dogg is one of the most popular polarizing figures in the world. And I got to give him love for that. And I could just imagine if the Harris campaign actually called Snoop, call Snoop Dogg, and his phone is ringing, and he's busy, he's doing what he's doing, and he told one of the homies, hey, answer that phone for me. And then they answer the phone and they sit back and say, hey, Snoop, it's Kamala. And I could just see Snoop saying, this Kamala Harris? Hey, hang up, cuz, block her. And I can imagine, I know it, I shall have a doubt, he's not going to do that. But if he do, just think about the influence that they have. 82 million subscribers, or 82 million followers on just IG alone. And then I thought to myself, I said, wait a minute. I'm looking at, people committing career suicide. Robert De Niro went on record and he was trying to, talk to the people to support Joe Biden. And Robert De Niro caught some sanctions. When I say he caught some sanctions, and he really, tripped. He really tripped out. So when I say he caused some sanctions, I mean, he was out there trying to lobby for Joe Biden. He was trying to talk to the Trump supporters. They was booing him. So this is, what started the entire downfall of the Biden administration, because clearly they just handed Kamala Harris to us on a bronze platter. And I'm not going to say a silver platter, but a bronze platter, because nobody, voted for her. There was no primary. It was not fair. So literally this election is not going to be the lesser of the two evils, but it's going to be which party do you want to get raped by? OK, and this is why they're doubling down with the women. But we'll get into the politics, though. But I was thinking, if they was trying to get Snoop and they couldn't get Snoop, and then I thought about it. I said, what about the Swifties? OK, now on your screen that I'm sharing with you, Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift has 100. Let me see here. Let me hit that again. Taylor Swift have, my bad, 284 million IG followers alone. Not talking about her personal or Facebook or all her other platforms. Not talking about on YouTube, her music channel. I'm talking about 284 million. And she got Travis Kelce, but neither one of them are supporting either side. But when you think about it, they're not Trump supporters. You're talking about Taylor Swift in the entertainment industry. So that's the liberal as it gets. And she's not supporting the Democratic Party or not sharing, her 284 million followers that she influenced. Think about that. Now, is that a vote for Donald Trump? I don't think so. I think they're just making an educated decision not to be violated by either party, because neither party is for the people. They have their base. But when you come to the people, most people are more in the middle. And when I say most people are more in the middle, they're kind of, bipartisan. They could go either way. There's liberal on certain measures, but then when it comes to abortion, a conservative will say, well, I don't agree with, no term limits, but I do agree with, having, statutes of limitations, meaning, first trimester, rape, incest, yada, yada, yada. But when you have these conversations and you really want to talk about it, we really got to get to the root of it, because the revolution is not being televised. So we're going to really have to have these hard conversations. We're going to have these hard conversations, just like aforementioned Snoop Dogg with his 82 million Instagram followers. OK, he's not selecting a presidential side, because, without a shadow of a doubt, if he did resonate, because they all stepped out with Obama. OK, even some people stepped out with Sleepy Joe. And when I said career suicide, because Robert De Niro pretty much, committed career suicide, but then also E40. Now, E40 has merely 2 million Instagram followers, but in South Carolina, I believe it was South or North Carolina, I could be corrected, E40 did a rally with the Biden administration. He put it on his IG and said he's standing on business. So instead of growing his brand, he lost Instagram followers. Because I know without a shadow of a doubt, when I showed that video, I've seen individuals just basically like, nah, boom, unfollow. OK, even myself, because I haven't seen him. I'm not following no more. I was down with Goon with a Spoon. I was down with the, the hip hop and all of that. But now, man, since you done, sold your soul, talking about you standing on business and you would bite him. And then when I said, OK, I went into the comments was blocked. So now, do you think they could flip E40, E Fonzarelli? Do you think they could flip him to voting for or supporting Kamala Harris when he's from the Bay Area and he has, homies after homies, brothers after brothers, basically that got caught up in sanctions while she was not only the attorney general, but the DA. So think about that. He committed career suicide. He supported and stood on business with Joe Biden and ended up losing followers. You would think the brand would grow. So now, since, Snoop Dogg with his 89.2 million, Taylor Swift with her 283.8 million. Wow. And then I thought about it, because I remember when Hillary Clinton was running. And Hillary Clinton was running for president of the United States. And I was watching a concert, and I believe Jay-Z and Beyonce was on a dual tour. OK, and they were, at the major venues, the Rose Bowl, Madison Square Garden. And I believe in one of the venues, they actually brought Hillary Clinton out on the stage, raised their hands with her to basically show that they were down in solidarity with the Democratic Party. But where is that for Kamala Harris? Where is that for Kamala Harris? Okay, where's Beyonce in the Beehive? Because when you look at that Beehive, man, it blew my mind when I looked up Beyonce's IG. Boom, there it is. 317 million IG followers. And guess how many followers, or guess how many individuals she's following? Just one. Just one. Now that shows you a superstar. That shows you, a person, a megastar. And this is what I'm saying. There's no mega stars or superstar celebrities that's supporting the Democratic Party this time around. And a lot of people say, well, Donald Trump. No, Donald Trump, man, when he had his convention, he brought out Joe Rogan, Kid Rock, Hulk Hogan, RFK Jr. decided to flip. And now he's on the Trump side, Tulsi Gabbard, who was a Democratic candidate who basically clowned Kamala Harris on the primary stage. And she was the governor of Hawaii, a registered Democrat, former Democrat, who's actually working with Donald Trump, because the people are starting to know and the people are starting to understand that the politics is about the economy versus abortion. So I believe that the economy should be the most important thing on the docket that we should be voting for. I truly believe that, but we should be able to come to an agreement and some term limits and some type of statutes, on a national scale when it comes to abortion, because this is crazy, because they're literally, going out on a limb and basically taking it to an entirely different level when it comes to the women's rights and freedom and women's right to choose, because it's dividing the nation. Because a lot of times, they don't understand. They just do what they do. And as a man, the black nuclear family, the alpha male, has been sacrificed for the Democratic Party since its, existence, especially after the Civil War. So now that they're double down and investing in the women, I kind of feel bad, because I don't think they know that they're going in the wrong direction. Because Adam's mistake, in the biblical terms, in the biblical context, Adam's only mistake was he hearkened onto his wife. He followed behind Eve and didn't follow God. Now that Adam realized that he made that mistake and he's getting right with God, the woman is still out there unprotected. She's on the limb now. She's out there. And she's uncovered. Okay. So now Adam's, a do-over. Adam will say, listen, Eve, the serpent gonna come. I'm not dealing with this threesome this time around. You're going to be on your own. So you can go with me because I'm going back to God, or you can continue. And then she basically, slamming him, destroying him metaphorically on the internet, trying to cancel him and all of that. And all he's doing is trying to go back to God. So just like when we say we're not going to be voting for the Democratic Party this year, and a lot of individuals, a lot of females say, well, then you're voting for the other side. Okay, so if I don't go with the devil, then that means I'm going to the other side. That means I'm going back to God. Okay, so this has to be something that we got to talk about and be honest, because the woman is a sacrificial lamb, because she don't know when Adam leaves her and go back to God, the devil, that's her dude, and he all in her ear. Oh, baby, you didn't need Adam anyway. I got you. I got you, baby. You know what I'm saying? You're hungry. You know what I'm saying? I put some money on your books. You don't even have to carry that food stamp card and be embarrassed. I got it on the card. Now I'll give you that EPT. I can help you. If I get you pregnant, you don't want to have my baby, you know what I'm saying? You could board it, no term limits. You know what I'm saying? I got you, baby. And then what about when the kids come? Okay, but then he got them too, because the statistics say that 6 out of 10 African-American, aka black men in the United States of America, will see the municipal, state, or federal prison system. And that's a fact, because when you take the father out of the household, look at those percentages. And then if you look at slavery, it's no different, because involuntary servitude is what's going on. And this is why in the Bay Area, and I know E40, E. Fonzarelli will not be supporting Kamala Harris because of her history as a district attorney, attorney general, and all of that in San Francisco, it was the black man that's being sacrificed. So when she get out there and says she knows criminals and all of that, that's crazy. She do know criminals, but man, that is crazy. So the Democratic Party, from an entertainment perspective, does not have any mega stars. Okay, now Snoop Dogg, like I said, look, homie, I love you, bro. And in my personal humble opinion, if you were to, I'm just playing around. I'm not serious, okay, because I would love to do some work with you. I got, a OG of mine, a big bro of mine that's in your camp, man, that I love dearly, so I don't want to, I'm just joking. This is just jokes, as entertainment, edutainment, okay. So Snoop, with your 89.2 million followers, man, like I said, keep it copacetic, because if you do support Kamala Harris, homie, I'm pulling up to the compound in Inglewood for that DP. We're gonna have to run that fade, homie. And then Taylor Swift, 283.8, not going down. And that's crazy. Beyonce, 317 million followers. That's crazy. Not supporting. E40, the only one committed career suicide from the hip hop era in the entertainment industry. E40, the mogul, 2.4 million. And he had 2.8 million subscribers when he supported Joseph Biden and stood on business, and actually lost 0.4 million followers on IG by making a dumb, boneheaded decision by supporting that particular party. And that's crazy. So it is what it is. And like I said, the BL Glover Show, entertainment, sports, politics, and money. Now in the sporting news, man, happy football season. Football season, man. Week 1 with the college football jumped off, man, this week. And man, USC against LSU, that was a big game. USC versus LSU, huge game. And when it comes to Big 12, Big 10 football, now I understand why the conference separated the way that it did. Now I see why the conference separated the way that it did. Now I see why the conference, the Pac-12 became the Tupac, because the only two teams that not stand to be corrected are Washington State and Oregon State, that's still associated with the Pac-12 conference. So that should show black American people that, things change, and nobody's saying, well, if you go to another conference, okay, you got to look out for yourself. And I believe the black culture, we are so lovers of individuals that don't love us. We are so much, forgiving and want to help everybody else. I think this time around, we got to look out for ourselves. But USC played an amazing game, man. Let me see here. ESPN top story. Angry Kelly slams fist on table. Okay. Washington Post, USC versus LSU was a football game delight, unless, of course, if you was Kelly. Now, Lincoln Riley, novelty act looks good on USC's Trojan. Okay. And let me see here. And listen, we got some good things going on. So let me see. I'm going to share my screen with you. And I should have did that already. So I'm learning. Okay. These are the headlines. This is the news that's out right now. And let's go ahead and check out some highlights. All right. Let's check out some highlights. We're going to watch these highlights together. Let's go. Let me see here. That was the first quarter, 0-0. Big pass. Let me see here. Let me see what it looks like. I'm learning. Okay. Now let me see here. USC scores first early in the second quarter, and they getting that dance. And I believe that brother, and I'm going to learn these guys' names, is a transfer from Mississippi State. And then here's a pass where the safety got caught slipping. He 2 feet down, well, 1 foot down, this college. And then Lacey is probably a top 10 pick. Okay. Now, it was an amazing game. It looked like it was actually a bowl game. And they were basically playing at the Reliance Stadium, and where the Raiders play at. And like I said, just like with the Pac-12, what happened to the Pac-12? The teams left and went on to bigger horizons. And remember, look at that. When Budweiser used to be the king of beers, what happened to Budweiser? Modelo. What happened to Encyclopedia Britannica? Wikipedia. So we got to understand that this evolution, we got to evolve. We cannot continue to do the same. And when they sit back and say we're doing the same, we're not doing the same. We're not doing the same at all. That's what, that's the issue. Okay. And he missed his kick going into, let me see, did he get that one? I think, yeah, that's the one he got, but he did miss a kick going into late in the third quarter, or they did not show that. But it was a good game. Welcome to the Big 12. That was Big 12 football. I mean, it was, like I said, it was an amazing game. And let me see here. Boom. See if we could do that. There we go. And hopefully you guys are still watching. Okay, but it was a big game, man. And SC did their thing, and LSU showed, that this is big time football. And I believe that they're going to be strong. Now look at this catch right here. Look at that. And SC showed that they're going to be strong in the Big 12, but we're going to get to UCLA because they struggled against Hawaii. So we're going to get to that. But here's some more of the highlights. Boom. This was a big play. Time was running out. Catch, targeted, went to basically half the distance to the goal. And they thought they was going to place the ball to get a field goal. But SC did their thing, handed it to that running back, transfer, got in that portal for Mississippi State. And SC went on and pulled out a big one. They pulled it out, man. They pulled it out. And like I said, it was a treat. I was watching football on all the different screens. I had about 4 screens in my box over the weekend. And this one was the highlight or the climax because USC 27 to, let me see here, 27. All right. Let me see here. Boom. All right. 27 to 20. That was USC. And like I said, I can't play the sound bite because that's how they, hear, the algorithm, and they can actually strike your channel. But like I said, in fair usage, that was a YouTube. I'm a YouTuber. I'm on YouTube. So I was able to play those highlights. But USC did their thing, 27 to 20 over LSU. And Lincoln Riley stated that was, Big Ten football. And then still in sports, Colorado, had a game against Colorado, North Dakota State. And I'm going to go ahead and see if I can find some highlights for you on that. Because let me see here. I'm searching for some highlights as we speak. Okay. But I can't show you all the highlights. But what I can show you, is the catch. If you did not see Travis Hunter make this brilliant catch, you got to check it out. So let me go ahead and pull out on that. Let me pull out. Okay, let me figure this thing out. Okay. Let's see here. And we're going to go ahead and break this catch down. We're going to go ahead and break it down. Let me see. All right. So I hope you guys can see it. So let's go. Now check this out. Okay. Now, when I first saw that play, I thought it was an incomplete pass. And if this is your first time watching it, it looks like an incomplete pass. Look at this. Look at this. Okay. Now, it was a catch. Now, when I first saw the catch, the commentator said one of the craziest things ever. He said Travis Hunter with the EA Sports NCAA college football glitch. So I'm going to let it play, but I want to break this down. So look at this right here. Look at this right here. You see his eyes? I don't know if you see my arrow, but that man's eyes is focused on that ball. But right there, he does not look like this will be a completed pass. You got the whole sideline looking, trying to see what's going on, and they didn't know what they was about to see. But check this out. Okay, now look at this. He got his hand under his chin, pushing his face with his arms, which should have been going between his arms. But look where the hand placement is. That looks like it's going to be an incompleted pass. But watch this. Somehow this youngster grabbed the ball. Now I'm going to go ahead and rewind it, and I'm going to let you watch it in slow motion, full speed. But check this out. Look at this. That is amazing. That is amazing. And my man called it a NCAA college football glitch because, man, that was crazy. So Colorado and USC, they won. UCLA won, but in Colorado they play North Dakota State. Okay, and if you didn't know, North Dakota State is a subdivision, Division I AA football championship, FCS. They have a playoff, a championship, and all of that. But I believe they've won 12 titles total. So that was a good win to open up. The stats was there. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to ESPN and see some of the box scores. Let me see here. And like I said, it was crazy. So before we even do that, I need to show you this real quick. Because UCLA, they might be in trouble. Now, UCLA overcame a double-digit halftime deficit to hold off Hawaii. Think about it. Now, maybe they, got out there, was looking at the Hawaiian women and maybe they got caught slipping, but 16-13 in the first game as a member of the Big Ten, you're struggling against a Mountain West team. Now, the crazy part about it is if you put some money on it in the first half, or if you put money on the spread, you made you some money because the Bruins trailed 10-0 at the break. And big plays from the quarterback Ethan Garbers, and wide receiver Rico Flores Jr. and kicker Mantine Bahogany, and was the difference of the game. So Deshaun Foster is the head coach for UCLA. If you know, and I know you do remember him as a running back. So Deshaun Foster, this was his first game. And as a black head coach, if he had have lost the game yesterday or Saturday, 2 days ago, if he had have lost the game, his job would have been in jeopardy. Think about that. So his job would have literally been in jeopardy because the margin of error when you are a black coach is zero. The margin of error is an absolute zero. And you really got to understand that because like Deion, when he came last year, like his margin of error is going to be slim too. But the monies that he's making, he's successful, even though last year they didn't put up the victories. But in terms of the economy, it's plus 6,000, the viewership. They actually moved it to a different conference as well. And we got to find out, where did all the Pac-12 teams go? Because the Pac-12 is now in the two-pac, which is Oregon State and Washington State. So to me, they should both basically let the Pac-12 go and go jump in the Mountain West and, divide the conference up and be in the Mountain West. But I'm sure they're going to figure it out. I'm sure they're going to understand. But like I said, Deshaun Foster, job would have been in jeopardy had they lost that game. Okay. Now, the margin of errors is slimmer than most when it comes to blacks, because usually when you, get fired or you lose your job because you're not putting the wins up or putting, bottoms in the seat or people in the seats, you go and find you a job. But a lot of, the Caucasians or the whites, they actually go get other head coaching jobs because that's just how the game go. So when you look at, the situation, with Deshaun Foster being the first black coach at UCLA, we got a lot of, we got to talk about that. You got to really talk about that. So, let's have this conversation. So I really want to know, where did all the Pac-12 teams go? And let me see here. We're going to go ahead and check out the conferences because I really want to know where all the Pac-12 teams went. Okay. Now, let me see here. The American Athletic Conference. Okay. The ACC. Now, check out the ACC. Now, the ACC, let me see here, got 4 teams ranked in the top 25. Georgia Tech, SMU, there's Cal. So the California Golden Bears, Cal, is in the ACC, the Atlantic Coast Conference. So their closest Road game would be what? Virginia Tech, Pitt. That's crazy. So the Cal Bears, if you're wondering where your Pac-12 teams went, California Golden Bears, Cal, Berkeley, is in the ACC conference. Okay, let me see here. I'm sure they went with somebody else. Stanford. So Stanford and Cal both are in the ACC conference. Think about that. Stanford and Cal is in the ACC, two original Pac-10 teams, two original Pac-12 teams. California, two teams in the Pac-12 or the Pac-10 originally, and the Pac means, the acronym for Pac is Pacific Conference. Okay, Pacific, or basically the abbreviation for Pacific, PAC, the Pacific Conference. So you're talking about two teams that's on the Pacific coast are in a conference when all the teams are on the Atlantic coast. So what does that say about the Big or the Pac-12 conference? And see, when I say it all comes together when it comes to politics and sports and all of that, where's the politics here? Where's the politics here? 10 teams of the original Pac-12 conference or Pac-10 conference have left the conference. Where's the politics? Where are the people saying, well, why are you leaving the Pac-12 if you go to, okay, so what? So what? It's in the best interest of the schools. It's in the best interest of the teams. It's in the best interest of the money, the sports, recruiting, because now when you recruit players, you're not bringing them to the Pac-12 or the Pac-10, formerly known as the Pac-10, and playing these late games. You might have a Thursday night game, Oregon State versus Washington State on the Thursday, kickoff at 7:30 West Coast time and all that. The viewership is very low because of the time schedule. Now you have these two teams that's playing in the market and clearly went from a top tier Power 5 teams, because the Pac-12 was a Power 4 conference. We got to make that correction. We got to correct that, because now these teams are in Power 5 conferences with the likes of Georgia Tech, SMU, Duke, Louisville, Miami Hurricanes, NC State, North Carolina, Pitt, Syracuse, Virginia, Wake Forest, Boston College, Clemson, Virginia Tech, and the number 10 ranked Florida Seminoles. Okay, now the Big 12 conference. Now who's in the Big 12? Okay, right off the top, you got Arizona. Arizona is now in the Big 12. Went from the Pac-10 to the Big 12, or the Pac-12 to the Big 12. Now Arizona and Arizona State, and it looks like they took the two rivalry teams and slid them to, it was a joint venture, so they can actually continue with the rivalry. Okay, the in-state rivalry, or here in LA, the city rivalry, because in the Pac-12, you got the Arizona Wildcats and Arizona State basically in the Big 12 conference now. And then if you look at Stanford and Cal regional, now that's their rival or in-state or local rivalry game that they still kept. So somebody had the politics in mind, and somebody wanted to continue to double up or keep these teams intact, because now, the Big 12 is a Power 5 conference with the likes of Arizona's Wildcats, Arizona State. BYU was stepped up because BYU was in the Mountain West. Okay, BYU, Baylor, Cincinnati, CU, Colorado Buffaloes. Now it's going to be tough because y'all played the North Dakota State. So now it gets tough because they got to go to Nebraska this week. So that's going to be must-see TV. Iowa State, Kansas Jayhawks, Kansas State, Oklahoma State, TCU, Texas Tech, UCF, University of Central Florida. There it is, Utah. Utah jumped up in there as well. Houston and West Virginia. So, man, we got to get used to this new thing. And this is showing us, and I'm telling you, they all segue, because I'm talking about politics right now. Because a lot of people, we don't want to talk about politics, but politics is something that we got to talk about because God's people shall not perish due to lack of knowledge. And there's politicking in everything that we do. They even hood politics. There's people that go viral on the internet, on Clubhouse, on No Jumper, with all of these YouTubers, these influencers, Brick Baby and 600, Whack 100, these people talking about politics. And then you got street politics with Laz Alonso and what's the guy, the East Coast, Spider Loke, and then the B-Dog from Inglewood, they got their own show, so politics is in everything. And the only people that don't want to talk about it, they want to keep you out of the loop. Because if you look at this, you talk about the Big 12 conference, and I say, well, shoot, Arizona Wildcats, Arizona State, Utah, Utes, Colorado, you'll be like, wait a minute. Yes, Big 12, they made a move. And that's politicking because it's in the best interest of the school. It's in the best interest of the program. Because how are you going to continue to compete with the Alabamas and the Florida States, the LSUs, if you're not in a Pac-5 conference? Because typically, five-star athletes, they go to Power 5 schools and they show up and show out, and they're rock stars when they get there. They got the NIL deals and all of this stuff that's going on. So it is what it is. Okay, now the Big Ten Conference. Now, let me see here. The Big Ten, let me see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 teams, okay, in the Big Ten. So when Lincoln Riley said that was Big Ten football, let's go down. Let's run it down. The Big Ten Conference. Okay, you got Illinois, Indiana, Iowa Hawkeyes ranked number 25 right now. The Maryland Terps, Michigan Wolverines in the top 10, Michigan State, Nebraska, Northwestern, Ohio State, number 2 in the country, the Oregon Ducks, number 3 in the country. Oregon made a move. The Penn State Nittany Lions, number 8, Purdue Boilermakers, Rutgers, UCLA, USC, 23, and on that victory, I think over LSU, they should be probably 14. I think they should probably crack the top 15 because that was a big victory. Washington Huskies, Wisconsin Badgers, Minnesota Golden Gophers. So you're going to have no days off because even on your worst game, you go down there to Chicago and go have to play Northwestern, get caught slipping. Illinois, these teams do not have good records and their programs are strong, but you don't see them on the radar because, they barely, winning 5-6 games, becoming bowl eligible because the conference is so strong. The conference is so strong. So listen, this thing is crazy. And man, and like I said, I'm going to the Mountain West Conference because, this is where they should put the Pac-12. So the Mountain West got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 teams. They should have 14 because look at the poor Pac-12 conference. Look at the poor Pac-12 conference. Oregon State Beavers and Washington State. Think about that. Why it wasn't a dual package with Washington State and Washington? Because the programs. Okay, Washington State is a national powerhouse. It's been one ever since. Okay, it has its ups, its up years, it has its down years, but it is a nationally recognized program that has gone on the road and played the likes of Miami, plays the likes, they played in the national championship game last year, so it is what it is. But always not, it just happened, but I'm saving the best for last because you got the SEC, the Southeastern Conference. I'm going to run this off. Because the Southeastern Conference, man, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 teams ranked in the top 25. Alabama, Crimson Tide, number 5. Arkansas Razorbacks, Auburn Tigers, the number 1 team in the country right now, the Georgia Bulldogs, Kentucky Wildcats, Mississippi State Bulldogs, number 11, Missouri Tigers, number 16, Oklahoma Sooners, number 6, Ole Miss Rebels, South Carolina Gamecocks, number 15, Tennessee Volunteers, number 4, Texas Longhorns, Virginia Commodores, Vanderbilt, my bad, Vanderbilt, Florida Gators, the number 13 LSU Tigers, who actually lost to USC. So I'm thinking the LSU Tigers should be ranked top, in the 21, and you bring SC up. Shoot, man, I might put SC at 14 right now with that big victory. And then you have the Texas A&M Aggies who lost to Notre Dame over the weekend, and they are ranked number 20 right now. So when you think about it, politics is everywhere. Politics is everywhere. Week to week, we're going to communicate. We're going to talk about this on our Quarterback Monday show and really try to figure these things out, because it is what it is. So you got to understand what's really going on, and understand that politics is what it is, and understand that, we got to, figure out what we're going to do as a people, because in the politics, man, and it's a perfect segue, because you have these teams and these organizations that actually left their conferences because of their self-interest, the interest of the program, the interest of the schools. And when they say we're moving forward, they're clearly moving forward because they're moving forward in a better situation or scenario. But sometimes when you say you're moving forward, you're literally moving backwards. You're literally moving backwards. So it is what it is, man. So in politics, and this is what we got to talk about. This is what we got to talk about. And I'm going to be honest with you. Harris is sliding in the polls. She had a debacle interview with Dana Bash on CNN. Looked like she faded, like she might have had a drink or two or partied the night before. But just how I can actually sit here and have a conversation and be transparent, and we chopping wood. I think it's going to grow, but I got to stay consistent. But at least I can have a conversation. If you go to some of my live videos, we interact, we communicate. OK, but when you watch the mainstream media wants to tell you, that Harris is winning, will beat Trump on a national scale. OK, fine and dandy. But they're talking about deep blue states. They're talking about deep blue states. OK, so we're going to talk about swing states, because the swing states, 5 to 7 states will basically decide the election, because in the state of California, Harris is going to win. It's the deep, dark blue. The state of New York, she's going to win. Georgia, but some of these swing states, let's talk about it. Because in Pennsylvania, after the debacle interview, because her polling went up in the after the DNC, but then she took a break and then came back and did a one-on-one interview, not a one-on-one, a two-on-one interview with Dana Bash on CNN, and she didn't even sit alone with CNN. She had Tim Walz sitting there, like her father, sitting there talking to her, helping her, because the president of the United States can't have a conversation one-on-one. And if she can, let's do it. If she can, let's have this conversation. So after the election, and this is the polls from Friday of this week, August 30th, Pennsylvania, swing state. Trump is leading Harris by 2 points. You're not going to hear this on mainstream media. The revolution will be televised. You will not hear this on mainstream media. Okay, and then you look at Michigan. Okay, it's tied when Harris was up 6 points. And there's a 3% or 3-point margin of error. So literally, if it's a tie, the tie goes to Trump, because the Democrats are literally the ones that's trending. Now, look at Wisconsin, another swing state. Trump is leading by +1. Look at Minnesota. Now, Harris obviously is up +5. There's a margin of error, but Tim Walz, and this is the reason why, and you can't tell me anything otherwise, but this is the reason why she selected Tim Walz as a running mate, because of the states that they need to win, and Minnesota is one of them. And the trend was that educated college white female voters were leaning to Trump. So now they had to select Tim Walz to be on the campaign with her, so this can actually take place. So we'll go ahead and figure that one out. But she may just basically get that state. But look at all the other swing states. Now look at Arizona. Remember, Arizona had a lot of hanky panky. That was the state where they wanted to stop the election and find the votes and all of that stuff. And Trump was losing on all the polls when it came to Hillary and when it came to Biden by an average of 4. OK, some it was double digits, some it was 12, and it was so close. But if you have Trump, leading Harris, that says a lot, because if you mirror this up against the polls in the past, then you would see that the Democrats prior to the election had a substantial lead, but then it was closer than they thought. The election stopped on the day of. And then what the mass media would say, there's no evidence of widespread corruption. You only needed it in these swing states, and Arizona is one of them. Michigan is one of them, and Pennsylvania is one of them. And right now, Trump is leading in Pennsylvania. Trump is leading in Wisconsin. Trump is leading in Arizona. And boom, he's leading in Nevada. He's leading in Nevada. OK, and I got my frame there. So I'm going to go ahead and let me tap out and see what the other states are. OK, and basically it's wow. He's winning in North Carolina +1. And guess what? Y'all not going to believe this. This man has tied Harris in Georgia. Georgia just might go to Trump. Because listen, man, this is crazy. Man, you got Fonnie Willis. Come on, man. Come on. Fulton County. And Trump has tied her. And the other two, these are just for local seats. But this is crazy, man. This is the craziest thing I've ever seen. This is crazy. But the mainstream media will not tell you this because the revolution is not being televised. The revolution is not being televised, man. Look at that, man. Look at that. He's tied her in Georgia. He's leading in North Carolina. He's leading in Nevada. He's leading in Arizona. He's leading in Wisconsin. It's a tie in Michigan. That's unheard of. That's unheard of. Because usually Michigan is so liberal, there should be a double-digit lead by Harris. But it's a large volume of Palestinians in Michigan, very large volume, a large volume of, of people who are upset about the extermination of their people in Gaza. Okay, I believe Rashida Tlaib is from Michigan. And then Pennsylvania, the liberal state of Pennsylvania. Wow, this is crazy. This is crazy. Man, so get your popcorn ready. We're going to have to figure this thing out. And it is what it is. So, man, I don't know. Like I said, I really don't know what they're going to do. Because, like I said, this is an October surprise. And this is the second day of September. And what Biden say, the election don't start till after Labor Day. So after Labor Day, it's not looking good for the Democratic Party. And like I said, I don't have no skin in the game. And you can't tell me I got to pick my rapist. OK, because lesser of two evils. Which one of them you want to rape you? And from a female's perspective, a female might sit back and say, I'll let Bouchon do it because he handsome. No, we're not doing that. Evil is evil. OK. Evil is evil. And just like the man was sacrificed, Adam has to sacrifice Eve. And this is why we got to get back to God, because the only thing that God said Adam did wrong was he hearkened unto his wife and not God. And that's real. So this is what it is. And we got to figure this thing out. We got to figure this thing out. We got to really figure this thing out. So, I mean, what are we going to do? Or what y'all going to do? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not, like I said, I am like really flabbergasted, how they could do these magic tricks and they can continue to trick us on a daily basis. And I'm going to share my screen once again, and because we're going to take a deep dive into reparations, okay, because there's some good news on the horizon. We got to have a conversation. So entertainment, sports, politics, and money. And money is going to literally be reparations, and sometimes the stock market. And sometimes I'm going to give you some plays on, sports betting. Okay. So let me see here. Fox News basically said protests erupt at California State Capitol after a pair of reparation bills shelved. See, and this is why we got to handle our business. It is, we got to figure it out. Listen, so the California Reparation Task Force, they created a task force. Now, the California Reparation Task Force is a non-regulatory state agency in California established by the Assembly Bill 3121 in 2020 to study and develop reparation proposals for African Americans, especially those who are descendants of persons enslaved in the United States. So let me see here. So Fox might get it right. So let me just open this up and see what Fox News is talking about. Okay. Now, protests erupt California State Capitol after a pair of reparations bills shelved. See, Democrat Senator Stephen Bradford says bills were not put up to vote over fear or a veto by Governor Newsom. So Stephen Bradford is a part of the coalition that put reparations bills, and I believe he was the one that's actually supposed to block it, because I've attended meetings with some of his surrogates and some of his campaign workers, and they're basically just trying to just throw it out there. Oh, there won't be no cash payouts. And I went to the Manhood 2023 when Stephen Bradford said the same thing. So this has to be a nonpartisan, authored by Democrat. This has to be a nonpartisan. And this is why we got to separate and get away from the two-party system so we can have a conversation, because when the Democrats shelf what we're talking about, we'll have some type of leverage to communicate and talk to the other side. Now, a pair of reparation bills of descendants of enslaved African Americans failed to pass in the California legislature on Saturday after backers said the bill would not move forward. Authored by Democrat State Senator Stephen Bradford of Inglewood, Senate Bill 1331 would have created a non-state fund for reparations. Bill 1403 would have established a state agency to oversee these efforts to determine who would be eligible. Now, these measures were considered key components of some lawmakers' ambitions efforts to pass legislation aimed at atoning for what was said to be the legacy of racist policies that drove disparities from black people from housing to education and health. So this is flabbergasting. This is crazy, because when you talk about a situation where they won't pay reparations, and I'm going to go ahead and show you some insight on how disrespectful this is. And this is why, we can't trust our elected officials. And that's fact. That's fact. We can't trust our elected officials. We can't trust them. And, so what doesn't kill you make you stronger. So we are going to enter into the game. So now it's time to seek out and talk to these people who really want to do right by people, because reparations have been paid out by, to the Jewish from the Jewish Holocaust, and the Holocaust was not here. The Chinese and Japanese after, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they got reparations, and we are descendants of individuals who built this country on free labor. Michelle Obama said it best. The White House was built on free labor by slaves. So when you really want to have these conversations, it's like, this is why we got to be nonpartisan. This is why we got to be nonpartisan. So it's a game of chess, not checkers. So they made their move. So now it's time for us to disassociate ourselves with them and make our move. Okay, it's going to be an uphill battle. but it is what it is. You know, it is what it is, but it is, you know, hey, they like it. I love it because, like I said, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it is what it is. It is what it is. So I'm going to show you this real quick before I get up out of here. And just to show you why it's a slap in the face, you know, for us, and individuals are, you know, basically, you know, not really having the conversation. So I'm going to go ahead and share this real quick. I'm going to share my screen. Then I'm going to get up out of here. Let me see here. Boom, right there. Okay. Now look at this. Look at this right here. Okay. They're shelving reparations bills. They're shelving reparations bills. Okay. But you see that right there? Let me see. You see that right there? That's crazy, huh? Los Angeles to get $21.8 million in federal money to help shelter migrants. This is why they shelved the bill. They probably had conversations with the Homeland Security to pay the reparations out, but then somehow, you know, we'll fatten your pockets, you legislators, and Stephen Bradford, as you're leaving office, we'll go ahead and slide you some bread, and we'll basically move the reparations, that $21.8 million that we was going to pay. We'll give that to the migrants because the city of Los Angeles will get $21.8 million in federal funds to help house and provide support services to newly arrived migrants, including migrant children living on Skid Row, officials announced. So you got people living on Skid Row, but the migrants get the bread, and they just going to leave brother man out there, man, on Skid Row with his mental health issues and all of that stuff. Now, city officials, with the support from the county, have applied for federal emergency management agency funds to shelter newly arrived migrants who have struggled to find housing after coming to Los Angeles. They just got here, and Homeland Security gave the city of Los Angeles $21.8 million. Now, local officials advocate have pledged to welcome migrants who have arrived in recent years and offer them help. But those efforts have been challenged by the city's acute housing crisis. Hundreds of migrants, parents, and children this year have gone to live at Union Rescue Mission, a privately funding shelter on Skid Row, while a smaller number have been living in tents on the sidewalks. Housing migrants' families can be especially difficult because they often not eligible for the same housing support as residents. So this is crazy. And I see down here that the Department of Homeland Security have $380 million invested across the country for shelter services for migrants. Now you see why it's so important and imperative to have closed borders. Because if those borders was closed and that money was there, then it's a possibility that we could have been having a conversation to basically, you know, pay out the reparations. But somehow, some way, you know, we've been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray. And this is why we continue to run amok as a people. And it is what it is. It is so sad, but it is what it is. So when they sit back and say that they're not going to, you know, ye who, you know, like I said, ye of little faith. That's all I got to say, because like I said, we're going to have this conversation. So now, you know, our politicians, our elected officials are pretty much playing games with us, moving the goalposts. So now it's time for us to not support them. So Stephen Bradford, he's on his way out. He's reached his term limit. So who's going to try to replace him? So now it's time for us to have these conversations with those type of individuals. So, man, with that being said, man, you guys have a good day. What a Debbie Downer. But they're going to run us our bread, but we're going to have a good one. So this is, you know, a little snippet. You know, we're chopping wood like a scrimmage game. The BL Glover Show, entertainment, sports, politics, and money. No celebs, you know, supporting the political side. And now you can see why. Snoop Dogg, Beyonce, Taylor Swift, or no. USC had a beautiful, started out the college football season with a big win over LSU, 27-20. Then the catch, okay, the EA Sports NCAA college football glitch with Travis Hunter, the politics, Kamala Harris is trending downward in the polls, and the money, they messing with it because they trying to shelve some of the reparations because Dr. King says, that America has defaulted on a promissory note. He was talking about getting his check in the late 60s. And now we still having the same issue because somehow the city of Los Angeles decided to run the bread $21.8 million in federal funding to help shelter newly arrived migrants. So with that being said, man, y'all have a beautiful day. This your man, Bushan Glover, signing out. Better Black America TV, Better Black America Talk radio show, and the